Before social media and viral fame, desire was born on the silver screen. Classic Hollywood created stars who didn't just act, they mesmerized the world. Their looks, voices, and effortless charm made audiences fall hopelessly in love. These legends weren't just famous, they were desired. From unforgettable glances to magnetic screen presence, they defined glamour, romance, and obsession for an entire generation. Today, we're counting down the 10 most desired stars of classic Hollywood, icons whose allure still leaves us speechless. Astonished face sparkles. Marilyn Monroe was more than just a movie star, she was the very definition of desire in classic Hollywood. With her platinum blonde hair, soft voice, and captivating smile, she created an image that felt both glamorous and deeply human. What made Marilyn irresistible wasn't just her beauty, but her vulnerability. On screen, she blended innocence with sensuality in a way no one had before, making audiences feel protective, fascinated, and completely enchanted. Films like Gentlemen Prefer Blondes and Some Like It Hot turned her into a global icon, while her off-screen struggles added layers to her mystique. She wasn't distant or untouchable, she felt real, fragile, and emotionally open, which only increased her appeal. Marilyn redefined femininity in the 1950s, proving that softness could be powerful and desire could be timeless. Decades later, her image still symbolizes glamour, longing, and Hollywood magic. Clark Gable was the embodiment of classic masculine desire and earned his title as the King of Hollywood for a reason. With his confident posture, strong jawline, and unforgettable smirk, Gable represented rugged charm at its finest. He wasn't polished or delicate, his appeal came from a natural, effortless masculinity that felt authentic and powerful. On screen, he played men who were bold, witty, and emotionally complex, making him irresistible to audiences. His performance as Rhett Butler in Gone with the Wind cemented his legacy, combining romance, strength, and vulnerability in a way few actors could. Gable had a commanding presence, even when silent, he owned the frame. Women admired his confidence, while men aspired to be like him. In an era of carefully crafted stars, Clark Gable stood out as raw, magnetic, and timeless, an icon whose appeal continues to define classic Hollywood allure. Elizabeth Taylor was the very definition of luxury, passion, and irresistible beauty in classic Hollywood. Her famous violet eyes were unlike anything audiences had ever seen, instantly setting her apart and making her unforgettable. But Elizabeth's appeal went far beyond her looks. She brought emotional depth, intensity, and strength to every role, making her performances feel powerful and real. Films like Cleopatra, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, and Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf showcased her ability to be both glamorous and fiercely dramatic. Off-screen, her high-profile marriages, bold personality, and refusal to live quietly only added to her mystique. She loved deeply, lived extravagantly, and embraced controversy without apology. Elizabeth Taylor wasn't just admired, she was endlessly fascinating. She represented a woman who owned her beauty, her desires, and her independence, making her one of the most desired and talked about stars in Hollywood history. Humphrey Bogart proved that true desire isn't about perfect looks, it's about presence, confidence, and depth. He wasn't conventionally handsome, but his appeal was undeniable and powerful. With his gravelly, world-weary voice and piercing gaze, Bogart embodied a quiet masculinity that felt real and mature. He often played tough, cynical men with hidden vulnerability, making audiences feel there was more beneath the surface. Films like Casablanca, The Maltese Falcon, and To Have and Have Not turned him into the ultimate symbol of cool detachment mixed with emotional honesty. His characters didn't chase love, they resisted it, which only made them more irresistible. Off-screen, his romance with Lauren Bacall added to his legend, showing a softer side to his hardened image. Humphrey Bogart defined a new kind of desire, understated, intelligent, and timeless. Even today, his style and attitude remain the blueprint for classic masculine allure. Ava Gardner was pure, untamed desire, bold, sultry, and completely unapologetic. Her beauty was striking, but it was her fiery spirit that truly set her apart. With her deep, expressive eyes and magnetic presence, Ava radiated a raw sensuality that felt dangerous and irresistible. On screen, she brought passion and intensity to roles in films like The Killers, Magambo, and Show Boat, often portraying women who were strong, complicated, and impossible to ignore. Unlike many stars of her time, she refused to be carefully controlled by the studio system. Off-screen, her rebellious lifestyle, outspoken nature, and high-profile romances only deepened her mystique. Ava didn't chase approval, she lived on her own terms, and that independence made her even more alluring. She represented desire without restraint, glamour without polish, and beauty without apology. Decades later, Ava Gardner remains a symbol of fearless femininity and classic Hollywood sensuality. Cary Grant was the very definition of suave sophistication and timeless charm in classic Hollywood. With his perfectly tailored suits, debonair smile, and effortless wit, he exuded a magnetism that was impossible to ignore. Grant combined elegance with playful humor, making him equally appealing to men and women alike. Men admired his style and confidence, women were captivated by his charm and charisma. Films like North by Northwest, Bringing Up Baby, and His Girl Friday showcased his incredible versatility, blending romance, comedy, and suspense while keeping audiences utterly captivated. What made Cary Grant truly irresistible wasn't just his looks or manners, but the way he carried himself, with confidence, intelligence, and a touch of mischief. Off-screen, his refined persona and discreet lifestyle only enhanced his allure. Cary Grant set the standard for Hollywood elegance, proving that charm, sophistication, and subtle sex appeal could make a star truly unforgettable. Rita Hayworth was the ultimate symbol of glamour and sensuality in classic Hollywood, earning her the title of the Love Goddess. Her transformation in Gilda, with the iconic hair flip and smoldering stare, became one of cinema's most unforgettable moments, instantly cementing her as a sex symbol. But Rita's appeal went beyond physical beauty, she possessed a rare combination of elegance, charm, and emotional depth that made her performances captivating. On screen, she could be playful, seductive, or mysterious, drawing audiences into her every move. Off-screen, her life was marked by struggles, marriages, and personal reinvention, which only added layers to her mystique. Rita embodied both the fantasy and reality of desire, glamorous, unattainable, yet profoundly human. Even decades later, her image continues to inspire admiration, proving that true allure combines talent, charisma, and an unforgettable presence that transcends time. James Dean became an icon of desire not just for his looks, but for the rebellious spirit he embodied. With his brooding gaze, effortless cool, and magnetic presence, he captured the imagination of an entire generation. Dean's performances in Rebel Without a Cause, East of Eden, and Giant showcased a mix of vulnerability, anger, and raw emotion that made him unforgettable on screen. He represented a new kind of masculinity, sensitive yet daring, conflicted yet magnetic, a stark contrast to the polished heroes of earlier Hollywood. Off-screen, his short, turbulent life only heightened his mystique, turning him into a legend whose allure transcended his films. James Dean wasn't just admired, he was idolized, embodying the restless energy, passion, and vulnerability that define youthful desire. Decades later, his style, attitude, and tragic story continue to make him one of classic Hollywood's most desired and enduring figures. Lauren Bacall was the embodiment of cool, confident, and irresistible allure in classic Hollywood. Her deep, smoky voice instantly set her apart, giving her an air of sophistication and mystery that audiences couldn't ignore. Bacall's presence on screen was magnetic, she combined intelligence, wit, and elegance with a subtle sensuality that never felt forced. Films like To Have and Have Not, The Big Sleep, and Key Largo showcased her ability to hold her own opposite some of Hollywood's biggest stars, proving that her charm was as powerful as her beauty. Off-screen, her sharp mind, quick humor, and strong personality only added to her mystique, making her more than just a glamorous face. Lauren Bacall's allure was timeless. Her elegance, intelligence, and confidence created a unique form of desire that transcended traditional glamour, ensuring she remains one of classic Hollywood's most admired and captivating stars. Marlon Brando revolutionized desire in classic Hollywood with a raw, magnetic intensity that had never been seen before. Unlike the polished charm of earlier stars, Brando's appeal was primal, emotional, and unapologetically real. His performances in films like A Streetcar Named Desire, On the Waterfront, and The Godfather showcased a depth of feeling and vulnerability that drew audiences in, making them feel every nuance of his passion, anger, and longing. Brando didn't just act, he embodied his characters, bringing an authenticity that made him irresistible. Off-screen, his rebellious nature and refusal to conform to Hollywood norms only amplified his mystique, making him both admired and feared. He redefined masculinity, turning emotional honesty and raw sensuality into powerful tools of desire. Even decades later, Marlon Brando's presence, magnetism, and groundbreaking performances continue to influence actors and captivate audiences, securing his place as one of classic Hollywood's most desired stars.